Hi everybody, welcome to Face to Face. We're going business today and we're talking with the President and CEO of the Windsor-Essex Chamber of Commerce. Welcome, Matt Marchand.
Thanks for having me on the show, John.
Now, Matt Marchand, we've known a lot about you. We've worked in a mayor's office, not this mayor, but Mayor Hurst you started off with.
That's correct, back in 1992.
What were you doing there?
I did policy for former Mayor Mike Hurst, and it was we had a great run, 10 years, a little over 10 years, did a lot of good stuff, and I look very fondly on those days.
Good. And some other stuff you did after that?
Well, I worked for a group, CRG Railway, that were looking at spending $400 million to enhance our rail infrastructure across the border.
We'll talk about that. We have some good news that you weren't even there for.
Well, exactly.
You made the footprint and then you left. And now they
set me off differently. Yeah, of course, sure.
All right, let's talk about the Chamber. For those of you who don't know, they've been living under a rock in Windsor-Essex. We've got a lot of members of the Chamber. So who makes up the Chamber and what is the mandate of the Chamber?
Well, we are the voice of business, and we represent approximately 900 to 1,000 small, medium, and large businesses in our community, ranging from the smallest startups to Chrysler and Caesars and so forth. So we have quite a diverse membership base, and it's been certainly my pleasure to be the president and CEO of that great organization.
So you've been there for what, a couple of years now?
Yeah, exactly 2 years. Started in March 2012.
We wanted to make sure you're sticking around as we have you on Face to Face. All right, Matt, one of the things that is big and the buzz in this city is this policy forum that you're having. So tell us a little bit about that and how people could be a part of it.
Well, as far as we can tell, John, no other local chamber, at least as we can determine, has attempted something of this magnitude. We're bringing in experts from Quebec, from Toronto, from Michigan, to talk about some big issues that are impacting not just Windsor-Essex, but also Ontario-wide. And we're going to spend the better part of 4 hours, four sessions each. And we've got our University of Windsor is going to be our presenting sponsor. We've partnered with the labor community. We're going to be talking about myths and perceptions of business and labor. We're going to talk about power costs, which is a big issue for a lot of our members. We're going to talk about some successes that other communities have enjoyed. We're bringing in Detroit and Grand Rapids and Halifax. We've got some
Well, if we need it, with 11% unemployment in our region, we need a forum like this.
Well, it's a good opportunity. It's going to be held at the Kubota. It's going to be May 15th, so mark your calendars.
Right.
Starting at 7:30, breakfast registration 7:30, and the sessions will start at 8:30. What we're going to do is that we're going to be really mindful of time. So we're going to bang out, each session is going to be an hour, so it's not going to be a full day, but it's going to be very, very impactful. We're bringing in former VP of Ford, Adrian Vito, is going to be in session one, going to partner with our labor folks and George King, and we're going to talk about some business and labor issues, and again, power, some local success stories too from other communities.
Great.
And we're also going to talk about a big sector that really is emerging. That's our agriculture sector. We have the former Deputy Minister of Agriculture for Ontario coming in. He's going to be our luncheon speaker.
Well, we've been learning about that here at the college, at St. Clair College, was the greenhouse and the businesses and just so much of that's been sometimes overlooked because we're just city people. Well, so that's the big vision of what the chamber is doing, is covering all industries.
Well, as sort of I've been saying, we are the Windsor-Essex Chamber, and we're going to start acting like it around here. So depending on how you measure it, agriculture is the number one or number two industry in Ontario. Obviously, the auto sector is huge, and I'm sure you and I will be talking about that in the next few minutes. But we have about 750,000 people across Ontario involved in the agribusiness. In Windsor-Essex, it's over $1 billion industry. We have wineries, we have the growers, we have the greenhouses. We have more greenhouses under glass than anywhere else in Canada, really.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
It's outstanding. They're doing great work out there, and it's a big part of our local economy. It hasn't got a lot of attention, arguably, in the last number of years, but we're hoping to change that. We have a nice agriculture committee. We were coming out with a new paper the next month or so. So
a lot happening. We'll be putting the information, everything on the chamber for you to be a part of if you aren't already, and then obviously get some more information on the big policy forum. Come here, let's talk about a couple quick points that I got you here. In the news, Chrysler worried, getting on the horn to Hudak. You were on talking to Tim Hudak. I mean, good night, nurse. You're going right on. What do you think?
Well,
how that all played out?
Well, the obviously it was a week that kind of took some of us by surprise in the extent of the developments last week. But Tim Hudak, to his credit, he was a cabinet minister, as you mentioned, when I was back in the mayor's office. So there's a little bit of a familiarity there. He was gracious enough to call me back to talk about some of the issues that I had raised in the letter. And certainly we look forward to continuing to engage those folks who may not have the. Around here, obviously, we understand the auto sector. We've lived and breathed it for.
Right. And him being from Niagara region, so he understands agriculture.
He certainly does. He understands wine.
But there also is a knowledge. We had him here on Face to Face. I don't know if you saw that show. But
I didn't, but he spoke to our chamber about
the same day.
Yeah, about a year ago. So, I was very appreciative of him calling us back.
Did you find that's your role to help out?
Well, oftentimes when
dealing with politicians.
Oh, sure. Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's part of it, and getting to. As Tim was very nice to get back to me and talk about some issues that affect not just Windsor-Essex. It's not just a Windsor-Essex issue, the auto sector. It's Ontario-wide. There's 700 auto parts plants. There's 8 assembly plants. We do $80 billion a year provincially of auto work. That's a huge sector.
Sure.
It finances a lot of our healthcare and cherished social programs like education, healthcare, and so
forth.
And
we had Kendall Wenza Sr. on the show talking about all the different things.
I know, I just saw him in the parking lot on the way in, yeah.
So we had a lot. All right, let's talk about real quick.
Yep.
A couple things. The rail tunnel. So give us an update of where that is. We got some approvals, some money set aside. What's happening with that?
Well, it looks as though they're going to be on track for.
And where is it going to be? Just so everybody knows watching.
Well, the existing rail tunnel is not a lot of people know about it.
It's by Cameron.
It's by Cameron.
Because I used to be in the bingo industry,
exactly.
And that would rumble, and
It's in fact, it's right by the CBC building on Riverside Drive. It carries the equivalent of about 1 million trucks a year, about $20 billion in trade, and it was built in 1909. And it has to be replaced, like a lot of our aging infrastructure, be it bridges or other things. And the dimensions of trains have grown over the last century. So the plan is to replace that older 100-year-old rail tunnel with a brand new, state-of-the-art replacement rail tunnel.
Is this something? It could be something like that. That's going to be like they did in Sarnia. Wasn't there
exactly.
something like that? Okay.
The Sarnia rail tunnel.
Port Huron, Sarnia.
Exactly.
So same kind of thing.
The infrastructure in Sarnia had been replaced. Both their rail tunnel and their bridge was expanded or replaced. Both of them in the mid to late 90s.
Right.
And we're a little bit behind, but that's okay. We'll catch up shortly.
Okay. All right. So the bridge.
Yes.
The bridge and everything, so the new span is, do you believe in a new span for let me ask about the maroon thing, obviously. The Ambassador Bridge, do you think they should be twinned?
Well, that's a private organization. And
so that's not really part of your policy? Or?
Well, we've supported historically back in the Windsor-Essex Chamber back in the early mid-2000s, if in fact the private sector wishes to replace their bridge is 80, 90 years old by now. Then that's up to them to put forward the application.
Approvals and everything like that. So you're not against the twinning of the bridge?
No. That's a private sector decision.
Okay.
If they want to do that, then that's up to them. We've been supporting, as far as many of the membership is concerned, we need it all. We need a new replacement rail tunnel. We need a replacement Ambassador Bridge, and we need the new Drick Bridge.
So, Drick, how do you think? How are things going, given how you see politics on both sides of the border? No problems? Everything's good?
Well, it's nothing's easy, John. I mean, when I was in City Hall in the mayor's office, we were dealing with the border infrastructure. It's I think with the weight of the Prime Minister and certainly Governor Schneider has really pushed this thing. Forward, and of course the province coming in with the road has been very helpful as well. So I think there's enough momentum to get it done.
There is, okay.
That's not to say that there's not going to be, anytime you do any infrastructure project, particularly the international,
sure,
is really complicated. And
when do you think a car or a truck will be going over the new span? When?
I don't know, John.
Well, give me a date.
I think within the next few years, I'll say we'll.
What is your definition of one of the things we talk about later on the show? We've got Tony Azar, one of the developers. How are you helping development and economic growth for this region?
Well, a lot of things that we do on a daily basis is to help our members. Part of our mission statement is to help our membership grow and to talk about a lot of the things that the Windsor-Essex Chamber is involved in. I'll give you an example. We were the founding members of WeArchy, for example. That's the Windsor-Essex Active Retirement Initiative. the Chamber of Commerce partnered with the real estate board here
Yep.
in Windsor-Essex, and we founded that organization.
That 100-mile peninsula campaign. Right?
Well, exactly. You might be familiar with that back in the day. So, and that's brought in, depending on how you measure it, hundreds of millions of dollars into our community. Retirees, and so
relocation.
exactly.
Good.
So those are some opportunities that that we've sort of been presenting to developers to build and expand our base.
Good. So you're there to help them.
Absolutely.
We'll find out in a few minutes what Tony Azar says,
Absolutely.
how he needs help. Okay, meeting with mayors and wardens. How often do you meet with the mayor of the city of Windsor?
Well, we have good conversations. We don't schedule meetings regularly, but we chat. We also chat with administration. We also chat with our development commission. We also chat with councilors as well. So,
and the warden?
And the warden, we've been heavily involved with the warden a little more lately because of our weight on agriculture. Tom Bain and I see each other at events, and we talk. He was very helpful, actually, both Gary McNamara and Tom Bain, as well as Nelson Santos in helping us get our agriculture committee off the ground, because there hadn't been a lot of historical experience in the Windsor-Essex Chamber with respect to agriculture. So we really had to reach out into the county, and Warden Tom Bain and Mayor McNamara, and particularly Nelson Santos, has been very helpful. In fact, I drove out to Kingsville to see Nelson to float the idea by him, as well as Gary and Tom, and they were very, very supportive. So we really couldn't have had the level of success I think we've had without their support.
And what about the provincial and federal partner politicians, shall we say, different stripes, different. We got Liberals, NDPs, and Progressive Conservatives. So what is your relationship as the chamber? And I know a lot of them come speak, and I'll tell you, if you need lunches, I think every couple of months you can see almost every politician in town. You bring in guest speakers for your chamber lunches.
Yeah, exactly. We have an excellent relationship with the provincial government. I think I mentioned in the Windsor Star and in the media we've had and Teresa's doing an outstanding job in bringing forward ministers of the Crown to meet with chamber members. Jeff Watson's relationship and I, we go back. It's very, very good. I think one of the few times I've been invited to both throne speeches. I was up for the provincial throne speech and the federal throne speech within one calendar year, and that was very gracious of those opportunities.
And what about, obviously, Brian Massey, Joko Martin, and Taras?
Well, we just had Taras.
Rick Nichols.
Yeah, we just had Taras in our office about a month and a half ago, meeting with our executive. You probably know that Brian and I go way back from days of City Hall when he was on council.
I don't want to say you know everybody, but you do.
But
for the chamber, though, is engaged with them, and Joe.
Absolutely, we're engaged.
Rick Nichols in Leamington. Dave Van Kesteren.
Dave Van Kesteren. We try to bring in the leaders, and I think we've had a good measure of success. We've had Andrew Horvath was in September. We've had Tim Hudak in. We just had the premier in the fall.
For the chamber lunches.
Yeah, the chamber lunches, and also a chance for our membership to interact with the different parties. So what we try to do, John, is to bring the decision makers to our membership, and the membership themselves can then render a judgment on it.
And the best, I'll tell you, folks, is that one thing you brought in. Remember with the premier, I brought it and even asked, and is there any questions from the audience? Like you think, there it is. I mean, and the place was. Nobody was expecting it, I think. And she just said, anyone have any questions? So I thought that was pretty good. I didn't say anything. I had Chris Vanderdolen over there, so I figured if anyone's going to ask questions, there's more media people. I'm not a media person to say, and let them ask the questions. Okay, one of the things we always want to talk about with the chamber is the Business Excellence Awards. And I know TV Kojiko has been a partner of that from the very beginning.
Thank you very much.
They've taped all the way back. I don't know how many years they've been doing that, but I know it's been a big deal because when I worked at the Market Square, you probably don't remember this. You probably do, because it was under the Hearst regime.
I remember at the Market Square.
Yeah, the Market Square, and we won. That was such a big deal. And then a couple years later, we were part of the Classic Bingo Group. We won the Business Excellence Awards there. So it's really fun to win. I mean, and everyone's a winner. I know it's being nominated is so important. But you got some good people this year, and so that dinner's coming up, and it's been kind of a signature event for a whole year, right?
Well, we've got outstanding, the chamber staff led by Marianne Burke, our director of events, just does an outstanding job. It's really year-round. The minute that this BEA ends on April 23rd, on April 24th, we start looking at the next year's. And Yvonne Pilon's doing a great job as our chair again, outstanding talent in our community. And of course, Windsor Star, our presenting sponsor as well. So
and
we
the thing
appreciate
is
that.
too, it's fun too. It's like a
It's
gala
a great
night.
night.
I mean, there's galas and then there's galas. Then this is kind of like show business, Academy Awards type thing. And I say everybody's a winner, and
it's a great
we
event.
appreciate those that have been nominated and those that don't. But we know it's just all part of just the successes of Windsor-Essex. Kind of neat. And then Leamington does their own deal too. The Leamington has their own little chamber awards too. So I thought that's kind of neat.
It's kind of spread around the province a little bit.
Yeah.
Many chambers have.
Then you've got golf tournaments. You got
Golf
that
tournament?
coming up in I think it's in June.
June 9th at Beech Grove, outstanding course, and
Do you golf?
not well.
Okay. So
Not
you're
well.
just there shaking hands like politics.
Well, I'm there trying to find my ball in the rough, John. That's what it boils down to.
Okay, I get you. All right, so we got a lot of things going on in the chamber. What do you see in the next? What do you want in a mayor? What would the chamber want in a mayor? I know you're going to get into all the election stuff,
Yeah,
but looking at May 27th, May 28th, who do you want to be elected? What would be the right things, elements of the best mayor for our region, meaning Windsor at this stage?
Yeah, sure. A couple of points there. First, part of our policy forum that we're putting together on May 15th at the Kubota.
October 27th. I'm sorry, I said May 27th.
Sorry. Well, I guess sorry.
Yeah, you got what I said.
I got what you said. Part of what we're doing as part of the chamber organization is to help shape the debate and put some issues out there for aspiring candidates to look at. And part of what we're doing on May 15th is to put some issues out there for candidates and aspiring candidates to think about, and they can then render their own opinion and judgment as to whether or not they wish to carry that message. So what we're going to try to do is throw out some ideas. Again, we're partnering with labor, our universities, so it's business, academia, and labor coming together to give out some ideas for our region. And not just our region, too, the province as well. We're going to talk about power rates.
Will you be in the election putting support behind anyone?
Oh,
will you
no,
be doing a slate? No,
what we will be doing, though, again, we're going to be having debates in the fall.
Yep.
We'll be, of course, I'm sure.
TV Coach goes
TV
always
Coach
there.
will be covering it, and that will be a big event in the fall.
All right, a lot of big events. Thank you, Matt Marchand, for being here finally. See, you had the job for 2 years, you're in.
Well, thanks, John. Thanks for having me on the show.
All right, Tony Azar is next. Azar, Ray Max Developments right after this.